So you are probably expecting me to trash Swatch and the new collaboration. It's plastic garbage. There are a lot of videos out there doing exactly that. And you know what? Yeah, I thought I'd be doing the same. Then I realized what's happening. I discovered the truth. Let's get into it. Welcome back to my channel where I share my musings about watch collecting spiced with an economist perspective. Now, this isn't the video that I thought I would make. I had a great video analyzing Tudor pricing in the works, but once I saw all the negativity and downright nastiness about Swatch and the latest release, I really wanted to put out this video. Because I believe that people are missing the point. They're not seeing what's really happening. And I want to try to explain it from my perspective. And you're probably expecting me right now to talk about the watch, but no. We have to go further and travel into the past. I promise it's vital to understand this. In 1735, Jehan-Jacques Blancpain opened a watchmaker shop on the second floor of his own house. He registered as a watchmaker in his hometown of Villeret, and thus he founded the oldest existing brand of watches in the world. Did you know that? Some people, maybe even watch collectors, think Blancpain is a pen manufacturer that dabbles in watchmaking. So it would be natural for you to think that the vital partner in this collaboration would be this venerable maison. Isn't Swatch riding the coattails of such a historical brand? Isn't this a case of a plastic watch manufacturer giving itself the airs of high horology? But you would be wrong. And right about now, you're likely guessing that I'm going to talk about the Quartz Crisis, when the Swiss watchmaking industry faced extinction. On Christmas Day, 1969, Seiko released the Astron model. This was the first quartz movement wristwatch for sale. With a price of $1,200, it would rival the value of a car at that time. Did you know this? That quartz watches were once priced like a Patek Philippe. And the same limited production with 100 units sold the first week, and likely only 1,500 units sold worldwide. But of course, that wasn't the end of the story. The Japanese watchmakers were in a relentless race to produce ever cheaper and more accurate quartz movements, and it spelled doom for the Swiss. They likely lost 40% of their watchmaking workforce, and so many storied brands were extinguished into history. They should make a movie about that. But of course, this leads us into the partner in the collaboration who really matters, because they saved the Swiss watchmaking industry. Wait, did you think that it was Rolex that saved the Swiss? Well, yes, they dominate Swiss watch sales now. It's what, 40% of total sales by dollar metric. But no, it was Swatch. Because even mighty Rolex tried their hand at quartz movements. Yes, it's unthinkable now, but under the dire threat of insolvency, they produced what they call the oyster quartz. Yes, I agree. Do they really have to add oyster to everything? Oyster steel, oyster flex, of course, flex being the operative word. By the way, you can get great deals on Rolex quartz models. Now, I happen to love quartz watches myself, so I might pick one up in the future. No, it was Swatch that revolutionized Swiss watchmaking. Wait, you're asking, how can a cheap plastic watch be a revolution? It sounds like a $20 AliExpress deal. Sure, here's a coupon with the link. But in fact, they did. They revolutionized watchmaking with System 51. The System 51 is the first fully automated mechanical watch manufacturing process. And yes, it is in fact a marvel of technological innovation. Something that even traditional watch collectors should respect. Why? Most mechanical watches have as much as 600 parts. It's called System 51 because the movement has only 51 parts. Now, can you imagine the innovation required for such simplification? And yes, it's still a precise timekeeping device with an attractive 90 hours power reserve that exceeds the old ETA movements and even their new silicone parts Powermatic with 80 hours power reserve. It also means that the watch is 100% Swiss made, no outsourcing to China. And we all know the dirty little secret for most Swiss brands is that yes, their watches are mostly made in China. Never mind the Swiss-made label. That's almost a joke now, certainly misleading. Only the Holy Trinity and Rolex are made completely in Switzerland. And now, you can add Swatch System 51 to that list. It's certainly not Longines, Hamilton, Certina, or any other mid-range Swiss brand. But they don't want to talk about that. Even Omega outsources part of their manufacturing to China. Yes, it's a basic mechanical watch, designed with simplicity in mind and accurate timekeeping. But then, is that it? That's the secret plan from Swatch? Cheap plastic watches were all it took to save Swiss watchmaking. Within 5 years of the 1983 launch, 268 different models had been created, and 50 million units had been sold worldwide. Those are G-Shock numbers, but again, that's not the end of the story. Because when Swatch came out with a non-repairable plastic watch, people were actually predicting the end of Swiss watchmaking. No hand finishing, the end of high horology. But the financial success of Swatch allowed the company to reinvest in traditional watchmaking, ultimately saving the Swiss watch industry. Look at this chart. That's how Swatch ended up owning all those high horology brands. So now you're probably expecting me to say that this is a secret. That's it, of course. Cheap sells, and this collaboration is about a cheap plastic watch. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant bioceramic. Well, no, because here's the real point of all this, the secret plan. Did you ever wonder why it's called Swatch? What does the S mean? Yes, it stands for Swiss, but not everybody knows that it also stands for second. And that is the genius of the Swatch watch, the concept of the second watch. Because what it really meant was used as a fashion accessory. The company introduced new collections twice a year, collaborating with artists like Keith Haring and Kiki Picasso, and releasing special editions with designers such as Vivienne Westwood. At one point, it was fashionable to wear 2 swatches at once. What a sales pitch. I remember seeing ads for Swatch as a kid in the 80s, and it got me real excited. It looked cool. I hadn't even considered buying a Swiss watch. I couldn't afford it. It wasn't even a possibility, but those ads, they looked cool, and I wanted one. And that is the real point of all this. It appeals to the young. And look around you nowadays. If they aren't wearing an Apple Watch, they are wearing nothing until the Moon Swatch. Then suddenly, it's cool and fun to wear a watch. And look at those lines. People are complaining about the weight, but what does it say about the demand? Well, it's all silly TikTok. Yes, again, that's the point. Young people are waiting in line to buy a cheap plastic watch. And really, think about the genius of this marketing. Swatch needs to introduce their older traditional brands to young people. And now guess what? Young people are funding a marketing campaign aimed at young people. That's it. That's the whole point. The collaboration is a self-funded advertising campaign aimed at young people, funded by young people. Genius. An incredibly successful financial and marketing secret plan. Get young people to give us money so we can sell more watches to young people. Brilliant. So you see what is happening, right? History is repeating itself. As in the 80s, Swatch is convincing young people to buy watches again. It's in their DNA. So will I be standing in line to buy it? Of course not. Why would I wait in line when I can wait a few months and get it then? When there are no lines, okay, maybe I'll get the gray model. I'm still thinking it over. Until then, I'll see you in the next video.